So, I hope you have cleaned your wardrobe or the shoe rack to check how many unused items are lying there, as I asked you to do it in the last episode. Have you? If not yet, then I'm sure you will do it after listening to this episode. After all, we are here to learn and adopt things, and not just talk and forget, right? Well, let's recall the time when, in the start of the year 2020, the coronavirus started hitting us badly, and our government, like many other countries, announced a complete lockdown. Let me ask you, what did you think of doing first when you realized the seriousness of the situation and the fact that you won't be able to go out for an indefinite time? I'm sure you didn't run to the shopping mall to buy your favorite pairs of shoes you were waiting for. You didn't think of stocking new dresses or jumping out to watch a movie in the multiplex before everything gets closed. Did you? I'm sure not. Yes, we all thought of food and tried to ensure that we had sufficient grocery at home, whatever one could afford. Am I right? Can we learn anything from this? I think for sure. With the havoc the virus has created all over the world, it taught us many lessons as well. Due to technical and economical progress for a big section of the society, many things have become so easily available and affordable that we have started mistaking even high-end accessories as our basic needs. All of a sudden one day, a microscopic level virus taught us that they are not. If we are conscious enough, we can learn from every situation in life, especially from those which are not favorable. This unprecedented situation reminded us that many of those accessories we thought we cannot live without are not even necessary to live. It made our once precious wardrobes a burden on us. I'm sure the bigger the size of one's wardrobe, the more anxious one would have been about not being able to use anything that he or she would have collected lovingly and deemed precious. Now what? The toughest time is almost over. So should we start living our life as before and accumulating things once again? Or do you think it should change the way we lead our lives, especially our attitude towards our luxuries? Do you think we can be a little more wiser in deciding what is a need and what is just compulsive accumulation? I think yes. I'm not saying that we should stop buying everything or stop using any luxury, but what I definitely want to convey is to stop considering them your life. They are not. They are only the accessories that make our lives comfortable. Once we consider them to be what they are, we will be able to use them without being attached to them. There are so many people who don't want to give away their accumulated items to anyone, even when they don't use them, just because of this blind attachment, as they cannot think their accumulations to be separate from their life. More or less, we all do that. Haven't you seen people who think their life has no meaning if their comforts are gone? It's equivalent to saying that your car has no purpose if its music system and the air conditioner are not working. Let's not forget the fact that they add comfort to your journey. They don't take you to your destination. And then there are those who accumulate such a huge number of clothes or shoes or something else, they probably won't be able to use them in their entire life. If we have forgotten, this virus is a harsh reminder that we are not going to be there forever, and we might even have less time than we anticipate. So is there any point in accumulating anything more than what we genuinely need? Maharishi Patanjali prescribes Aparigraha, non-possession, as one of the rules in his code of conduct for yogis. But as I repeatedly say, they are as important for all of us as for anyone on the spiritual path. Let's explore why. I'm sure you would agree that the most unused things in your house are the items that are cleaned the least. A simple example is our storeroom is never as clean as our drawing room. On the gross level, it is the reason for the dust and germs to accumulate and is an invitation to various conditions such as asthma, allergies and insect-borne diseases. But what is more important is that they not only occupy the physical space, they reserve a corner in our minds as well. And more than the accumulation of things, detachment from them is important. And this is what I feel the broad meaning of Aparigraha is. Use whatever you need to, but don't remain attached to it. In day-to-day life, there is another reason we should avoid unnecessary accumulations. Things which are not in use generate negative energy. You might be knowing that everything has an aura, an energy field that surrounds it. If we are sensitive and conscious enough towards this energy, we can easily feel positivity or negativity in the aura. Doesn't it happen to you that at times you feel attracted towards people you don't even know, just on seeing them for the first time? I'm not talking about love at first sight, just a general feeling that makes you trust them to be good. Or it happens with places such as mountains or peaceful beaches that we want to go there again and again. It's because of the positive energy they emit. Similarly, at times, for no visible reason, our mind says not to trust a specific person or not to visit a place. Sometimes it also happens that you visit someone, but as soon as you enter their house, you feel uneasy and just want to come out of it. If you don't have a known or visible reason for the feeling, there might be some negative energy around, which might be causing this. We'll talk about people's aura some other time. Right now, we are talking about the energy emitted by the items we accumulate. It can be both positive or negative, but the items that you accumulate and don't use are very likely to generate negative energy. Not everyone realizes this because of either low consciousness or sometimes it happens that we miss to notice the most obvious things that are just in front of us. If you increase your consciousness a bit more, you'll be able to feel the energy of every small thing around you. Vastu Shastra that tells you the right selection or placement of things is based on the study of this energy itself. And you must be aware of using crystal showpieces or Rudraksh to create positive energy, right? Let me tell you something. Nowadays, having a house help becoming a common trend, we don't see this often. But if you recall, our mothers and grandmothers always cleaned up the kitchen after cooking every meal and didn't leave a single used utensil in the sink, especially before they went to sleep. Because they said the used utensils will curse you if you leave them uncleaned overnight. It was their way of saying that they will generate negative energy. You may also understand this at a gross level in terms of the germs that the leftover food would develop if the utensils are left uncleaned for a long time. But you cannot ignore the subtle impact as well. This was about the impact of our accumulations on our own self. But does our unnecessary accumulation impact others as well? Is there a bigger picture as well to consider here? Definitely yes. Every small action of ours has an impact on the society and the world for that matter. Knowing it is just a matter of how conscious we are. One direct impact we can see is on the jungles being cut and the animals being slaughtered to fulfill our increasing demands, as most of the products we use are dependent on them. Not only this, by unnecessary and huge accumulations, we deprive others of their rights, as this creates a non-uniform resource distribution in the society. The things that we don't use might be very precious to someone else. But because of our tendency of accumulation, we increase their demand in the market, which in turn makes them unaffordable to many others. And if the prices have to be controlled by increasing the production, then the jungles and animals will pay the price. So don't think if it is cheap or freely available, it's actually free. If not you, then someone else will pay for it, probably with their life. Those of you who live in metro cities very well know that the cost of houses or flats increase every day. Is it because of a legitimate demand? Well, one important factor in creating this demand is the over-possession by some people. No matter how many houses we have, we can live only in one at a time. And we will have to leave that one also when we die. Still, some people just keep on increasing their possessions out of greed. On the surface, nothing looks wrong, but deep inside, by falsely increasing the demand, we make them unaffordable to several others who struggle to buy a single one with all their wealth. Not to forget the number of trees being cut to make the place for this jungle of concrete. And even if we only care about ourselves, let me tell you that ultimately it is us who will pay the price. It's just a matter of time. Sadhguru very rightly describes trees as the other half of our lungs. What we breathe out, they consume, and what they breathe out, we consume. Nothing new, but this means that our process of breathing is not complete without them. Every tree being cut is taking a part of our lungs away from us. This is the most impactful description of trees I ever heard. I hope this impacts everyone, especially people who simply live to make money and accumulate things. Having said that, it's important to mention that there cannot be one standard for all to describe what is a genuine need. Because no one can say whether having 4 sets of clothes is enough or 40. But whatever it is, it should be decided consciously, not impulsively or out of greed. A simple analysis could be, if I haven't used something for the last 6 months and I almost forgot about having it, then probably I don't need it. Once you start doing this, trust me, you'll feel very much at ease inside. Now tell me, have you ever stolen anything from anyone? Before you get angry on this question, let me tell you, I'm sure you haven't. You are a good person. But have you sometime or the other tried to pay someone less than what they deserve for their services? Just to save a few bucks? Have you taken the credit for someone else's work at your workplace? If yes, then let me tell you that this is also a form of stealing. Stealing the rights of others. But why are we talking about it? It's because Asteya or non-stealing is another rule given by Maharishi Patanjali, and as far as I understand it, it's not limited to stealing physical items. Stealing of physical items or money, not always but mostly, is done by those who are poor or uneducated. Those who are educated, they steal the rights. In fact, I should say, they do a more sophisticated form of stealing. All the biggest scams, frauds, are they done by poor, uneducated people? Are they only done by politicians? The more the technology has made us secure, the more ways the fraudsters find to cheat us. And it's not possible for an uneducated person to break through today's secure systems and commit crimes. It takes good knowledge and expertise. And so, unfortunately, it's true that our education system is not designed to inculcate values in us. If it means anything to us, we should take this responsibility into our hands to raise our children with values until the system is corrected. So although Maharishi Patanjali prescribed non-stealing and non-hoarding for the people who wish to grow spiritually, essentially it is for all of us who want to contribute towards creating a better world. In the next episode, we'll talk about where the code of conduct that we are talking about in the last few episodes stands in Hatha Yoga, and why almost never anyone is told to practice it before starting a typical yoga class. To understand this, we will understand the difference between Hatha Yoga and Raj Yoga, and whether those of us who practice asanas and pranayamas actually practice any of these. Stay tuned and have a nice time.